onye ga-enye m gịnị ka nwa ya na-alụ gịnị ka nwa na-alụ o nwere ndị anyị jide ifefe a na-akọ nwanne ya nwoke kpọrọ ya mee introduce to the crime ọ sị na nwanne ya nwoke o so jee kidnapping nweta ego transfer na akaụntụ nyanwa transfer ya ugboro ịbụ asị ya nna ị ga-abịakwana join na ife a na yanwa tinye na ebe esi enweta ụdị ego a yanwa je join na otu n'ime fa na-eje ife kampụ a bụ egosife ego ndị nọ n'ime kampụ na-enweta so mana ife na-agwa ndị Anambra bụ na Anambra ga-ajụ oyi kama na unu mana agwọsigodo ala ntamu ada n'ọsọ ife a were arọ ịtọ ka fa wee gbanye mgbọrọgwụ ama agwụ in 3 months or in 6 months ọ ga-ewe oge and unu mana anụ ọbụla riri ọbara ibie ada akwụsị ịchụ nta so na ọtụtụ n'ime fa ejego ife a mee kidnap na ofu mee ịbụa hey ego bụrụ nsị ọbọgwụ kedu onye na-anya bụ ọkada nọgide baa n'ime ọfịa bụrụ egbe jee mee kidnapping nweta nọgide ọfụ 200,000 or 500,000 dịkọrọ ọnụ ọfụ nụrụ mbụ isi anya rapụzie ya ọsị ka ya jekwuo one more ọ na-anya mesizie nke ọzọ nye wee kwụsị o mesịa nke ọzọ ka ya mekwa ọzọ until aka akpali ya mana ọ iji gwafa na the days are numbered. Anambra adịbago mma and Anambra ga-continue na adị mma because there's no place to hide. Thank you.
Achọrọ m ka m mata ihe nwere ike ịgwa ndị Anambra State because na Christmas fọlọfụ ofu ọnwa kedu assurance a na-enyefa for security the state of security now so that ka ha nwee ike ịnata bụrụ n'obi na enwere ezi nchekwa.
Dewo efe anyị ga ife na-agwa Igbo na nkife abụ ọlụ ụnụ kelụ ọlụ ụnụ wee n'ọlụ anya bụ ọlụ bụkwa n'isi ya bụ ichekwa obodo security of life and property and iji gwuru na ọ dị m nwa mkpa karịa etu ọ dịrị ndị be anyị na anyị ga-agba Christmas ndị be anyị fụrụ be anyị n'anya isi onye Anambra na ọma agba Christmas na village ma na imesiga ife ị ga-eme ya so na anyị ga-etinye ife niile anyị ga-etinye iji wee as government iji wee mee mana imekwa ka ndị be anyị ghọta na security ife gbasara security bụ ọrụ onye ọbụla onwe ife ịfụrụ kwuo onwe numbers anyị circulate n'oge gara aga wee sị onwe ife ịfụrụ nwee ife ịnụrụ. If you hear something, say something. If you see something, say something. Also anyị na-achụfa bụkwado ndị be anyị maka na anụta aka alaeze bụ na eze adachika ndị security ya fa bụrụ ndị mmụọ mmadụ ka fa bụ fa bụrụ ife a na-akpagharị nọọ ịtakwunyelụfa na nekwa onye dị etu a nka kedu nke ọ bụ na nka gebe nke a dịfa ebe isikwara na ọmụkwụ anyị esobezie ya esogide ya we have to investigate anyị solie anyị afụ na ya eziokwu o nwere ịbụa n'imefe agbatụrụ n'akụkụ mgbada akụbem n'isi ọfịa ụnyaahụ fajili ndị omekome bụ ọkada na-agba ejikọ ịchọfa pistol mụrụ onye mụ ebe fa na-eje ife dịka ndị sekuriti suspect efe wee flag afa jafe ime nke ife iweta ime amansi agbarafa tọgbọ wee postezie egbefa fabụ so aga na-enwe ụmụ ife a mana anyị niile gbakọ aka ọnụ anyị nwe gọọmenti anyị dị determined the vigilantes are coming up in the local governments and we're also encouraging communities to now reinvigorate their local vigilantes. Na-enye information. I wanted the information 2 a.m., 1 a.m., whatever. We'll go and pick them up. Anambra ga joy. Amen.
So, Governor, is Zakwara Juak onye nọ na street? But say Igbara ni so kuno na street.
I'm na street. I know na street.
Well, a big one. You know, first story for you when you came in initially because of the humongous security challenges they went at the state.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you are containing it. So congratulations on that front.
Thank you.
Now to my question. If I'm a great hullabaloo, by some people concerning the huge tax regime introduced by your government. And the other day, some people, keke riders, shuttle bus drivers and co, took to the streets to protest what they termed the huge tax regime. I'm aware that there were meetings between government and those people, their leaders. So I want to know how far you have gone with consultations with them and whether there's a way forward, so that we can begin to hear better stories.
Now, and about taxes, we actually, 2-3 points I make about taxes. In case, the question is, roads, construction site, and so on and so forth. Ejira ono etinyazo n'ofe. In fact, even in my inaugural address, I pointed me out. Now, oil money na. Ịma na alụ agbaga afọ because oge oil money jụrụ. Ndị mmadụ chefuo no tax ndị mmadụ kwụrụ ka eji edozi obodo. Onye ọ na-asị gọvanọ bịa lụọ ilo debe anyị emebigo nke a na-eme ebe a skuul anyị adọrọ mma takụla sekuriti enye anyị ilo bịa fix a road for na-ajụkwa ebe ka gọọmenti si enweta ego faga na-eji alụ ilo a ebe na-abụrụ taxes ndị mmadụ kwụrụ. Obodo oyibo onye ọ na-asị ọ bụrụ London, ụfọdụ kịta asị ọ bụrụ Lagos. Lagos, everybody pays their fair share. People pay. Lagos State generates 50-something billion every month. 50-something billion every month. 1 month. If I generate in 1 month, we're about if Anambra receive from Federation account in a year. If Lagos generated, but I say, hey, Obolo Lagos, you just buy for an alum kaka. But the Wakwai, you just joy if Fanaku, if you're Naku. Everybody, you can't equal your taxes with the beginning of wisdom in Lagos. Now, if you're here, I'm more the conscious of even about tax incidents, especially on the poor, to make sure that the tax incidents are draw heavy on the poor. The tax regime I tinye, particularly if you can ekubo fonde keke and buses and so on. The bulk of the people, tenement rates, buildings are in my if it wasn't the mother on but Lagos in where property if one in our per annum. But even the man now here. We're not paying. Let's put it clear. About ndi keke na ndi otu ya. If ndi keke na akukita de less than 50% if ever na akubu. The only difference kita bona asefa 1 year 1 month in advance. That's all. Before fana aku more than 1,000, some 2,000, some 1,500 a day. Because as if other 500 neje to government, which never got to government. Ndị ọzọ na-aga n'aka ndị agboro, na-aga n'aka ndị union. Na-aga enwere unions bụ enwere ndị formụrụ for perpetual unionists, lifetime unionists. Ma fe nwere ofu keke. Mana fa na collect ego every day. No ndị union, no nke union. Moto doing nothing on the back of ndị keke. Okuseba nale 100 naira, okuseba 200 naira, okuseba ndị agboro eburu okpokpo na-achụfa everywhere. First of all, if I be advice godo, nke afa na akwụ ndị agboro should be over. Unions, I disband their unions. HOI belong to union in 6 months' time. HOI belong to the union. You belong to the union will be voluntary. Or for your if a union just to press for their welfare. But overall union unke every day put eba if I call to union. Can the union now operate in the world? No na NUJ. No na every day putara ijolo eto to union. You know? So nke the only union na toto ilodo eba to union. We disbanded them. So all those things, kita aina chondeabwe. I think this is the point. I'm bagali on yesterday on Saturday. Like I said, I'm on the street. Maka mweleba pota na opi work am kwose. Nde mmadu de nulu. Nuputa ai kwose ze pana. Fabia na ekene mbiko. Thank you very much. If you make a lie, so far chondeabwe. They are happy. Because if you each day, you just go leave from one point before you lower bay park. A cruise 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 with all kinds of fake receipts. These are taxes and the madnaku which we are eliminating or we have eliminated. Now for the keke that pays now 15,000 in a month, calculated on the basis of 25 days in a month, that comes to about 600 naira a day. Compared to 1,005 a day, 1,900, whatever a day. We have reduced the tax burden on these poor keke people. Remove the burden fanaga through. Once you are 15,000 and one even hey 15,000. But the chief word that in a month before, no, more than 30,000 before. But if I put 200 or that bakia, when I came back on Muvancha, but the kita pay it, nobody should stop you anywhere. That's where we are going. And to say the point, final point, Bona, I na idea ba iga forget na billboard say ba na aloilo. Eba na ikwosela I na idea. Iga for ebe there. Solution is here. Your tax money at work. Your tax money at work. Nkwa ikwelo ndị Anambra mona every kobo fatinye n'aka anyị faga afu ife ebe ọ na-aga. Anyị na fe in the next 2 weeks or thereabout we'll be issuing appointment letters to about 5,000 teachers. Okay? A ga-akwụfu ụgwọ. So that our schools will have teachers for our children and the next generation. They must be paid. How? Pensioners, they retire in a local government since 2018. None of them received their pension, their gratuity for 4 years. Now we have begun to pay them. They are being paid now. Pensioners, we have gone back since 2018. At least but they retire since in an office. We've guaranteed they have been paid. All right, go. This is at a time when receipts from oil revenue, it then means something. That now Iowa as a people, the culture to remind us that our founding fathers, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Emaya Okparafa, and so on, now follow the cities of Onitsha with main market, with planned roads, tarred, water, electricity, Enugu, Port Harcourt, Calabar, Aba, and so on and so forth, with taxes paid by peasant farmers. Oil Abiago destroyed all that. Oga Fiaro Ekowalon de Mado. Taxes, but it is an important thing that we must reconnect the contract between the people and the government. The people pay their taxes, government provides services, but in an accountable manner. Omadizi at the beginning, Mana Ndi Anambra will see where every penny of their money goes to. This one.
I think what you've said about the logic behind the taxation is very clear. So amara mo kwa kesi kwa alpha for maka agodifa because echere m na onye ọbụla akọwali ọfụma amịga na-etipisi baka enwe kesi nwe any enlightenment ka ndị ọbụla niile dị involved mata nakwa the difference between
no,
now
I think now I think he's beginning to on afọ abanye nwayọọ n'imefa izizi the engagement government officials, they were engaging, in my view, with the wrong people. They were engaging with the so-called unions. They were engaging with the unions. But the new system will introduce the unions, but the new system may introduce in their own interest. Because they collect IFA every day. And we're millionaires and billionaires amongst them. You know, and which is part of the revolution we are going through. Makanandea sibuni miya wale eli ndi nuku mmadụ se bolosi ya nuku mmadụ. By taking these things from these people, they are not going to go away without a fight. Ụfọdụ n'ime fa na instigate the ụfọdụ protest. Ụfọdụ ndị keke ji aka willingly paid before ememe that protest. In fact, faje na akụ some of them kwugolo ụgwọ etife ife. So, I think na wobele oge ọfa ga chọpụta agwa anyị ndị kwụsị m n'Ọnịcha na-ekene for that. And I pass through here. Sometimes I pass and I say ebefa na kwụsị and hear them. And they are feeling ọnafa abanye na hey na onye ala eletrik gara shock. Savana kama eletrik na mmiri ọkụ kakwa mma. Kama eletrik vana aga bombo. Na ọ dịkwa ka nke a dịka mmiri ọkụ na ọ dịkwa ka ọkamma. I think in the Anambra where our tax regime will be, especially for the poor. No. Ndị na-akwa baro. I've told them on any market Niger charge ndị mmadụ ndị na-akwa baro, ndị iva, this and that. We're going to check out that union. You know, they shouldn't. For the poorest of the poor, we want to eliminate, you know, much of these hassles. But for you and I, for no one, they can and they am flavor doguva can you imagine? Just imagine for the sake of this to illustrate this point. Onye keke be 15,000 a month. Trader, a businessman, nwelo shop, na atobata multi-million, shop ya multi-million naira worth of golds and whatever. Ejuze ego ne ka na akwu a month or a year. This is where the issue is. Because a lot of people believe that ego ageji doesn't want Anambra, we can get it here. And at the rate Ijaga, if everybody pays is just half of what they showed, Anambra will be on course. Because under my watch, we're not throwing away one kobo. We will see the value. In the next few years, they will see the difference in neighbor. If everybody will chip in their own fair share. I get free appointments I make. I keep apologizing to my colleagues in the political space because I had a measure of the appointment at 2 They say, nyema appointment. If I say appointment, can you problem you got solve on the Anambra? Because let me tell you, this revised budget I made last year, you know, on a council the other day, we did the arithmetic. Oboloni wetele goni na emela appropriate for the whole year. That is budget estimate, not the actual revenue. If you get the entire thing and divide it by the population of Anambra, each person's own share for the whole year, for 1 year, will be 17,000 naira. That's 17,000 naira per person. That's what it comes down to. But now 17,000 I can get you $1 war pensioners. Young be a law yellow. Yabu be a school line drum my Yabu recruit teachers. Hospitals are not working. Yabunka, not 17,000 per person. It tells you the work that will be ahead of us. So, the conversation about tax and value was something I want to take very seriously with our people. We want to lower the burden on the average person, especially to the poor people. But then, getting those who can, it's about ability to pay. Getting those who can to pay their fair share. That way, we can carry the whole society and move it to that Dubai, Taiwan, Afacho, Sonoifa, Anambra, Cabo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. So if you nuku anu bata nuku nko.
Yes, obelazo, thank you. Yes.
I get you when break also.
After if you na le rika.
I get chala afia makana. Ane moma, ane media. Because chaloko 99 after.
Ndị be anyị agboro abụrụ ọlụ ejirokwana ya malụ ndị be anyị sọsọ ihe agboro ma butigbuo zogbuo na fomfoju akpa gị onye Anambra jisie ike mụọ ọlụ aka iji gosipụta ọnatarachi gị jee chọọ ihe ị ga-eme ka ị wee nwee ugwu bara ndị be unu n'obodo anyị uru.
Soludo Anambra ọdịmma anyị dị anyị n'aka.
Ozi a si n'aka ụlọ ọrụ Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS.
He's doing a marvelous work. So he's doing something, not up to 1 year. You have done many things within this 1 year, but in the area of tasks, you should lessen hand somehow. By the time you finish 4 years, first tenure, we start tasking. So people must have seen a lot of things you have done in this government. They are willing to be complying with the task. Although some people understand what is task, they are complying.
Starting from everything, education is first. So I think our students, upcoming students, starting from primary school and secondary school, and up to the university, they need more support from the federal government, even from the state government. Apart from that, also we need road construction. I think some other communities like in Olumba and Okasat, everywhere in Anambra State, we still have some bad road potholes around everywhere. So we need Governor Charles Soludo, our excellency, to try to verify everything around us. I think it is good for him to send more journalists outside there so that everything can be total verification to know what is happening in Anambra State.
Anambra people, we expected more from Professor Chukwuma Soludo. A lot of people voted massively for him because of what he had done in the past. And we want him to do more. Anambra State needs the best. And we have people that are capable. This is an opportunity for the academician, people that have come from the educational background to do wonderfully well so that they can set pace, to leave a legacy, to create policies that even the next administration will just follow in terms of cleaning the Anambra State, infrastructure, education, health care. There are a lot of things to change the face of Anambra State. We want innovation in this very state. We want security of life. We are still strongly behind him. If he performs well, definitely the second tenure, we will just vote him again.
Soludo appears to be defining his governance action, and there is hope that he will perform creditably well at the end of the day. If you watch all this rascality that comes with governance power, is not there. He had initiated certain policies, which I know were like testing the waters, the political or development waters of the state, to get a direction for the government. For instance, the introduction of taxing of petty traders, tricycle operators, shuttle bus operators. I'm sure that he's going to review them to get it better.
Ndi Anambra, extravagant funerals do not help anybody. It is against the Anambra State burial law. So, let's learn to take care of our loved ones while they are alive and not waste money when they are dead. That is the spirit of Ndi Anambra. This message is brought to you by Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS.
Daalụkwanụ. Anyị etinyetago. Ana m enweta signal na ndị na-ege anyị na redio.
Fa chọrọ
achọbago iju ajụjụ ife gọvanọ na-ekwu na-atọfe ụtọ mana fa chọrọ ịnụ nọmba ndị na-ege anyị na ntị na redio. Nọmba unu ga-eji kpọọ bụ 08119055555. Ọzọkwa 08119055555. Nọmba ọzọ bụ 07018639546. I repeat, 07018639546. Ka anyị na-etinyekwa okwu n'ọnụ. Na-etinye ọnụ n'okwu. Gọvanọ ikwuchego maka ndị keke anụnwa. Mana recently o nwere ife ikwu maka windo. Na ga-emechi nnọọ revenue window ka emeghezie revenue door. Door ka esi aba n'ụlọ na ọ bụrụ window ka esi aba. Ewepụta ụbọchị anụnwa wee kansụl si ụmụ ife anụnwa fa megasị wee si na ị ga-ejizi aka gị mebidi. Ewepụta ya fụzie gọvanọ ka ọ bụ ọkshọnịa aka na-awụkwa. Ụfọdụ kpọrọ m na-asị m na ife adịkwa ka a way of demonstrating transparency, which you are known for anyway. Ifesi ka njụ ọnwa ụdị afọ ego anọ na-akpọ ebe a. First of all, ka anyị go outcome ife a, then ụmụzi ụdị afọ ego anọ na-akpọ ụfọdụ a na-asị ya anyị na-akpọ ebe a ndị a ebutekwe mbuba. Biko tụnye ọnụ.
Well, ndị anyị na-asị na ntị m akara nke ya, m chọọ na anya m akara nke ya ịnụ ya. Mụnwa na ya ọ na-eme n'iru. Nke izi bụ na as you said, mgbe mbụ a na-enwesị ifefa na-akpọ revenue window, and a na-eme bidding kwa etufa si eme ya, mana emesịa ife na-abatalụ gọọmenti bụ peanuts, nwere ife n'ọkwa na-akpa ndị mmadụ ka ọ na-agde. So this time around, I said ọ ga-abụ nwana kpọtọbara ga-agba n'iru efi onye ọbụla bịaba. Emesibugo the ife bidding fa ife fa bidil maybe from etu osi bụ eme mbụ bụkwa again peanuts. Nwesị mba na-enwetakwa petitions ndị mmadụ na-ede, ụfọdụ na-asị mba na ife a enyelụ na ọ bụrụ etu a ga-esi wee mịa na fa ga-etinye ego na fa ga-eme nke a. Nwesị mba onye ọ na-abịabazie na Women Development Center na anyị ga-eme auction. Ọ ga-abụ public auction, and that's what we did. And na ka elulu ebe a ife ndị mmadụ na-ekwe bụ ụfọdụ na-ekwe 12 million or whatever. A lot of them in one case, somebody offer golo for the golo never got 100 million. That ended at 510 million per month. Almost ending the Madukulu Agana, 12 million or so. That ended at about 200 or 220 million. all the operators ndị nọ na ya ma ife dị na ya ọfa nwakwe nkwele na-ekwu ọnụ a na-azụ ya mana the taste of the pudding nọ in the eating fụ onye ka asị ya otolo gbaa ya ọsị ya gbaa ya ka ya fụ n'anya so ife anyị nọzi kịta bụ na fanwa bụ onye kpụrụ isi asị ya na ndị ọgụ ya bịa anafa bụ mmanya wee bịa ife ọgwụ afa bụ na ya nụrụ anaghị ọrọrọ m n'iku ya ama na eziokwu so na ife anyị gwa afa on bọsị anyị na meet on Tuesday bụ nọ fanafa alụ fa jebara ọlụ kịta with deputy governor ije maka government they committed to help them to succeed so fanafa alụ ọlụ na estimulate etu ọ ga-esi wee ga kafa wee dị successful execute the beats from the various nweta mana ọzi by the 28th of this month bụ oge enyere ofe iji kwụ ụgwọ maka ikwesịrị ịkwụ ụgwọ a month ahead or iweta bank guarantee and all of them nọ there nwere onye si na ya ma akwụ maka anyị gwa afọ onye na-ama akwụ nwụnụ ya pụta n'ilo ka agba izu maka ife dị mma na ife anyị mee bụ na anyị weta for each bid I weta the top 10 from number 1, number 2, to number 10 with the amounts for bid. So onye number 1 akwụnwụrọ emitiro onye number 2 na-eche. In fact o nwere ndị na-akpọnụ ma ndị number 2 ma ndị number 3 na-asị ka fa tọpụ ego n'ife onye number asịfa chelu nwee ndidi just jide check gị na-eche bọsị ya alụọ ọ bụ na onye number 1 na-emitiri ya kere ife kwu asị na mgbaghasị ya ma afịara arụ nọ na ife nkwuru ekwu ọzọ m so ọ bụ na fam emitiri onye nke ọzọ ewele ya by the time I na-aga to number 10 ọ bụ na none of them meet ya we start a fresh bid. The important thing bụ na there is a new day na Anambra. That new day agwara mfa ị na-emere anything to government onwe onye na-ewele ego ga-enye onye a ma ọ ganye onye a ma ọ ganye onye a ịma na ị na-eme salaka o nwere ịbịa na-enye gọvanọ ije na-enye nwunye gọvanọ ije na-enye onye dị related to me inwe onye ị na-enye ịma na ị decide na-adash onye a ego ije bid ya win ya iwele ya open transparent. That is it. And it's a new dawn. I'm not sure it may be anywhere in the country. And obolo na ifa melo, even 20% of it. Batasia. If I emete bombo 1%, the bid price. If I realize it, kita. Manakam 28 lua.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Ndị Anambra na-anụghị ya ọsọ gị iburu ego gị na-ebunye ndị mmadụ izo na ibunye sie ọ bụrụ na gọọmenti a na anyị na-adachi mmadụ ego come to the open bidding ọ balụ gị na bidding ibuba odogwu nwe
Mr. Governor ndewo na-ekwu maka ndị nkụzi ga-ewe n'ọrụ obi tọọ m ụtọ nke ukwuu maka na anyị nwa bụ ndị Ọka North mụ bụ onye Amanuke and ọ bụ obe mmiri ogbe na ugbe ndị nkụzi ara abịa ebe ahụ mana ewe ebe ndị ọfụ ndị nkụzi eju ebe niile ma onye dịkwa ka anya melo ma Anambra East ma West ma Ọgbarụ so na iwe malụ mma mana achọrọ m ka m commend your administration because na ọ bụrụ na ndị nkụzi be anyị gbalụ mbọ n'onwe fa tụlụ ugo na Abuja na Nigeria niile bụ ihe bụ the news na the news bụ na ụlọ nyezi ihe a na-akpọ motivation to do more and further stimulate so I commend you on that. Mgbe ka m nwere opportunity wee jụọ gị sị gị kedu kwenu maka ndị ọlụ ndị nke ọzọ dịka ndị ụlọ ọgwụ ewechegokwa ewe mana aka m amara ọzọ ibe a na-ekwu maka na ndị ọzọ dị iche iche
mba ndị nke a kwụ hospitals without doctors and nurses nke a ga-abụ ọ ga-abụ pastors kịta anyị na-ewe afanafa ejezi the last set doctors, nurses and other paramedicals staff anyị na-ewe emesigo first go for exam jee interview meifa ebugazili fancha niile to ndị civil service commission Just like in the suburb, na PPSSC, na final screening for the teachers to prepare the appointment letter. So the Civil Service Commission GAFA finalize there. And then doctors and teachers will also get to hospitals.
Okay. That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, Ify. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, Kwana Rika.
Yes.
Maka onye nwe arụike bụ onye nwe ike ịga n'ọmalịcha ife a niile na-eme. O nwee ife ọzọ inwe egwu anyị metụtala arụike.
Arike na-ada gbai. The other day, I take it very seriously. At the hospitals I went next year, again, we're quite a whole lot of interventions, even as we speak. We have intervened, my oxygen plant, my telemedicine, which I inaugurated in Okozo. And then we're upgrading 3 general hospitals that might get on to become specialist hospitals. And then the whole agenda of getting a regulatory framework that will regulate the practice of medicine in Anambra, the very, very critical. Hospitals, makwats, and so on and so forth, even the drugs that are tested here and the madnam. We're very serious about health, because health is wealth. And so by next year, as we roll out quite a whole number of programs already, specialist programs, we are putting in several of the general hospitals and refurbishment of them. And now we're putting personnel, boot on the ground. And then also, we want to escalate this telemedicine significantly, so that Onyeno in very remote area can now have access to a doctor in the best of hospital. That we want to leverage technology for diagnosis and prescription in Anambra. And the telemedicine, I understand, this is the first place, Ebidolia, and it has begun here in Anambra. And we're going to cascade it down to all the communities, linking rural health centers to specialist centers where people can have access to medical doctors 24/7. So I nabia. I choko abia ba. Yeah.
Poor management and evacuation of waste.
Yeah.
Being a kind of Achilles heel for many governments in the state, despite all the efforts that America will take care of it. At the stage, if we may using all the go by Aswam, and go overwhelmed by that problem. And recently, you transferred the function of evacuating waste to the local governments. So, what is the reason behind that new policy shift? And can it be able to sustain?
No, thank you very much. I just cut it short. The waste management, the key towards our program for a clean and green Anambra. For Anambra to be livable, we must have a dirty place. I want to see a time when all the streets are swept. And that way say azamabo, each child, zalo to the boundary, to your neighbor's own. The children from there take it from the boundary. And then all the community roads were swept every morning. Every morning. Today that's gone, but we want to bring it back. Now, we've come to a conclusion. Now, much of these things, the local, we cannot clean Anambra from Oka. Otherwise, the focus might be here in Oka. Even the highways, a heap of refuse, Akaliauna. No, we can't have a thing like that. Remember when we assumed office, I went to Onitsha to start off this cleaning up. A few weeks I assumed office. And one of them, Netiti Ochanja, I mean a four-corner thing with a traffic light there. But the heap of refuse is as tall as the traffic light. And the traffic light is still working. But imagine where gaffed the place. That's what we found. And they said, no, you can't sit here with an agency here and try to be cleaning everywhere. We got to get it to the government closest to the place. Even this morning, I've spoken with 2 local governments about some reports I got, what is going on there. They show, the third one sent me photos this morning, the videos, about where they have been evacuating, that's on Isha South, where they were evacuated along the express, because now they have tied it up with their contractor. So you want somebody local, somebody who is there, can in the morning run around and see what has happened and where is what and so on, and can develop local mechanism that they can monitor. I think finish the next step now, house-to-house collection of refuse. We're going to get there. And then sweeping of the streets. We must get down to that. That's the agenda. That's where we want to be. Because we want Anambra to be the cleanest state in Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. You know, growing up, and charity begins at. Charity,
and then the buy na-ege ntị onye ọbụla amalụ na ọlụ idobe Anambra ọcha bụ ọlụ onye ọbụla ọ bụrụ ọlụ asụwa ma gọọmenti ịṅụsịa pure water bụrụ etụpụ onye ka ị na-eche ka onye kpocha ya ndị na-arụ ọka n'akụkụ ilo ịrụsị ọka ikpolu ife iji were ọka wụnye n'ime gọta ị na-eche ka o mee onye ndị na-ekpolu ife kpochue gọta mmiri bịazie ọdọlụ n'enu the road maybe the road the next time isi gọọmenti bịa lụba na pothole dị na your road ịmara na ọgụnwa contribute to it ndị na-alụ ụlọ na-abụfalụsị ụlọ fa channel mmiri from their compound wepụta ya n'ilo mmiri a kedu river ị na-channel eto ọrụ somewhere ka ọ na-eje cause havoc. So now a whole lot of things we ife dị anyị n'aka anyị nwe imenụ idobe Anambra ọcha bụ ọlụ onye ọbụla ọlụ everybody nwere responsibility dobe bin na be gị dobe bin na moto gị dobe bin na ife a ị na-anya keke na-anya bọs na-eme ife a nwe obere little basket dobe ebe a onye ṅụọ pure water ọtụnye ya ebe a orie banana ọtụnye ya ebe a ọ bụrụ omezi ọwanye na window ebe ị na-atụfu ya na dustbin. So there must be a lot to do with personal responsibility.
All right. Ndị Anambra gọvanọ anyị si ka onye ọbụla ka anyị si n'ụlọ mmalụ mma wee pụtaba ilo afọ m na ndị mmadụ igwe okwu anyị na-akụzikwe nnọọ akụzi ike.
Ngwa biko ka anyị nụlụ fa.
Biko kpọkwa nọmba anyị ọzọ 08119055555 nke ọzọ bụrụ 07018633946. Ngwa anyị emego igwe okwu kịta unu kpọọ gọvanọ anyị ọnụ ya n'ike na ebube ịza ajụjụ ọbụla unu na-ajụ mana anyị ga na-ajakwa n'iru. Gọvanọ, law and order ịma na inu abụ inu na-atụ mgbe niile na-alụ gbaa arọ ọ bụla omenala onye ọbụla na-emezi ife gụrụ ya esi ebe anụ na na-agbanwe mgbe. So there's so much impunity left, right, and center. What are your plans to guarantee law and order and wipe away such impunity in Anambra State?
Ọ bụrụ na ịma ọ nwere enyi nwoke sị na impunity bụkwa n'asụsụ Igbo ndị oyibo welụ ọ sị nọ mpụ ka ndị be anyị wee tinye ka ndị oyibo welụ tinyezie eniti ọ bụrụzie nọ mpunity nọ mpụ ndị mmadụ ị na-eme mpụ bụ ya nwa impunity ya that is onye ọ na-emele ife sọlị ya.
Hello,
good afternoon. Yeah.
Biko gwa anyị afa gị ije ka ọkpọjee n'anya ozugbo. Ebe ka isi akpọ? Abuja. You know what time in Abuja?
Yes, and platform I guys where there is a contact. So they can connect online. But network had to help here.
What do you know, Ozugbo?
And taking a good mean, I am to see the
But Donald Jim, I am if you
yes.
Next, the governor, I think it's not like that. I'm making it. His Excellency.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the talk.
Thank you.
Therefore, number what would you mind? I will say I can afford to take a bit. Now, put down on the way, they are what they are with the car, the bomb. Then I read from Bernard. And on the when you get that woman, Anambra State, or Anahayani Wojani, or Atate, Ndidi, Nana Anambra State. But if the is not on the one that you have one or one alone. So they only do with Anambra.
Because
his question is about. Okay. No, thank you very much. Yeah. No, thank you very much. Do I take it or I take some together? Okay. Adam Akwachimezie Nwafọ. Because number one if insecurity echekwa na mekwugo maka azagom nka kwuo ife anyị na-emega na ya and so on. Ịma na onye nọdị na Abuja ịnọdị na Abuja n'ofu story ọ dịghị ka ịbata na Anambra na bullet na-aga the ife of social media onwe ofu bad news travels far. The good things that happen every day in Anambra, of course, nobody reports. I mean, that's taken as normal. But eventually, we go to Anambra, Jugoi. No. Nke ọzọ bụ maka ife na-eme na communities, leadership in communities. Ndị PG na ndị Igwe. I think it's a point. I've taken note of that. Mana m agwa gị nke bụ eziokwu na I na-eme ife dị iche na ife dị ọfụ about governance at the community levels. This concept of impunity and onwere iwu anyị na-afachi iwepụta ọfụ ga-ejebe to the House of Assembly about governance and the communities, community governance that will address a whole lot of issues related to governance at the community level. But we have no place for impunity or people using thugs or using these things to intimidate others and so on and so forth. We want to democratize governance at the lowest level. You cannot have democracy at the national level, have democracy at the state level, have democracy, which we are going into, to have election at the local governments ultimately, and then at the community levels, we also want it to be governed in a democratic way, through democratic means. And in this particular system of government, And what are room for Egypt water talks, ma Egypt water if I were not intimidating them mad, we're not cooling and them mad. No, we will have a system where if you are elected and from when we code of conduct, we code of conduct and the PGs and town union again with their code of conduct. You cannot violate it, without meeting with sanctions, as it were. So I want to assure you, about your community. We've taken note of that. Thank you.
I can
Okay. Yes, Your Excellency. Imago kwuo na achọrọzụ ndị agboro na parks dị iche iche nyekwuo ha opportunity ka fa bịa solu onwe ife akụkọ ọlọfa chọrọ ịmụ ka fa bịa mụọ ya mana agboro Kano ndị a na-ejide mgbe niile taụsụ a na-ejide.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Biko, what's your name and where are you calling from? And then straight to the question.
Yeah, I'm calling from my name is Chinedoka.
Chinedoka, from where you are governor, if you challenge you.
Mr. Governor.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. I feel bad, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The solution is here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Dal. What do you call me when you're on the line?
I will come back to you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Biko kuwa fai ebisi apo ijo governor Josibo.
Okay. I'm fine. I'm going to work out.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Governor.
Thank you. Thank you, Ifeanyi.
Yes, we are doing the good work you are doing in the state.
Thank you.
We are really thanking God for you. Maria and I up now. Oh my God, oh yeah, oh my God, okay, now you. To go and baby, you know, never doors, okay, the way you go down, you know, how Jesus.
Amen.
And the one I tried it now, but I was surprised yesterday as I was going to Alongo Road. I saw so many of them. Oh yeah, I put out this. Oh, they get there, put you before that, I was surprised. So, yeah, put you not doing your not doing what it is in my windscreen. Not doing your company. So when you go to anyone, even though my and I go back, they just say, you know. So, living in the room, don't win your way. So now I can afford to live with the boss or what the I got channels there, where the car. You will not need another road yesterday. They keep on collecting money from them to look. So I was like surprised.
No. Thank you very much. Thank you for this information. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you on that. I will come back to that shortly.
Hello.
Yes.
Biko gwa anyị afa gị ebe isi akpọ ijụba ajụjụ ozugbo. Okay?
Yeah.
We need to know.
Yes. Somebody the director of the Okumaka did
Okay, law and order, yes.
Yes.
All the Anambra State very well.
Yeah.
We are going to do no governor, I talked about me inaugurate one committee Okumaka and reconcile and people Anambra about this killing and and one of that committee is because the current environment I work with, we do see Anambra I work with. All these people are innocently. Because Mario Bunda, as I look at this blood I about the president and Ala-Igbo, Anambra State. Especially with your security audience around the election period time. These people, they are not happy. And they can never be happy. More than remember, they are pleased, they are full. Then stop what is killing. Now, so this is a consideration I will impact. Now, some people will need all processes. Upon until medicine, or that is Papa renounce war, the world peace in Anambra State, world peace in Ala-Igbo. Or throw some people in Anambra State here. Bubble Taiwan or Bubble Dubai, walk. So, I don't think you are going to Africa. That's this committee I will come up with you all of an iPad. So, I give anything because every type of company in the state of Africa, I'll all on Anambra State. They cannot work in this type of animalistic community. Everywhere there's a kind of fear. What are the example that the passport will enforce law and order is or die enforce this type of environment there when Anambra State today. They will never be easy achieve to achieve.
Amen. Mr. Governor,
let me thank you very much. If Makifi raised about, I think this issue of law and order areas ago, quite a few things. And Kimbo, if I need information in your life, Owerri Road, or the very critical, and I've taken note of that. I got our enforcement team to police that area very aggressively. So thank you very much. All the information I need, where I say, and so on. Because like I said before, Abona la nasigodo na ntamu ada na ọsọ. Ụfọdụ n'imefa ụbọchị ọ pụọ ṅụsị ya mkpụrụ mmiri. Na ifuru ife ọ na-asị chọrọ ya ego mmanya ma ọ chọrọ ya. Ọ bụrụgo that's his own other thing. Mana mgbe ana m anwụ fụrụ ana m anwụnyụ anya ugboro ịbụọ. Onye ju ogwugwu ọṅụọ n'udonu gbọ. So, and I think we're very determined about it. If I was about our Truth, Justice and Peace Committee, yes, they have begun. They have had, I think, 2 sittings now, and they are coming again to having their open sittings. That they are going to do, the spilling of blood, innocent blood, and so on, and that's a fundamental point that we want to, part of it in the Truth, Justice and Peace Committee now address here, you find out the remote and the immediate causes of agitations and so on and so forth, even the victims of this whole process, both civilians and the security agents. Because indeed they go victims of this whole process, on both sides. And well, our youths who have died needlessly, Mwekwa security personnel, the police, the armed forces, and so on, who have also been killed needlessly also. So this spilling of blood cannot take us anywhere. I think it is important for us to come to that conclusion. And then also make the point, and I've said this severally, and I will repeat it for a million times, anytime, any day. In all the criminals in Nigeria na this period in office, 7 months now. I've been in office exactly 7 months. All the people we have caught, all the people we have arrested, non-camps, kidnappers, who are killing others, and so on and so forth, 100% of them Bundi Igbo. 100%. Fancha Bundi Igbo. On the Igbo na-eme ibe FIFA. So anyị jere buru ya ga admekwu nke m na Anambra ka m furu ife m furu na Anambra. I'm not talking about elsewhere. I'm talking about na Anambra. Na ife niile anyị jidego na Anambra bụ ndị be anyị. And some of them confess openly. In fact, videos na-enweta nji ọgwaghị ndị mmadụ one ya gbugo. Gwaghị mmadụ one ya gbugo. Gwaghị one ya gbugoro ebe a. Gwaghị one ya gbugoro. Gịnị ka ndị a mee? Ịnọkata ibulu egbe je gbaa onye enwere ife ịmara ya ọ marọghị nwere ife gịnị ya ji. Alụ. So, all I want to say, Bona, yes, we are working very hard on that. But it's in the by fasting ọzọ emezina. I ga-eme ọzọ emezina. Emega ọzọ emezina. Mana ndị apụtazi kịta, they are plain criminals. Ndị anọ n'ime ọfịa bulu egbe. Nothing but criminals. Nwere any other objective. Now ebugharị alụnsị from one place to the other. That's the only thing they do. Ebulu alụnsị ga-enyefa protection. Kafa wee je kidnap ta mmadụ n'ala ego. That's all. Pure and simple. Nwere ife ọzọ. O wetere ego fa agbagbuo ya. Isi na onye a bụ mmadụ. Even lions don't kill lions. Animals don't kill themselves. Don't kill fellow breed. Mana nke a ka m fụrụ mmadụ ga-eje gbolu mmadụ ibie, o nwere ife o meghe, nwere ife ọ sị gị, nwere nke ife a, ịkpụrụ ya je gbuo. Ese na ị ga-adị ndụ. Anyị ga-anọdụ obodo anọdụkwuo, anyị bude ife a na abụmọnụ na ife a nke a ede na Baịbụl na a ga-evisit eto agbụrụ, kwuru agbụrụ, gburugburu niile onye ọbụla aka ya dị n'ịkwafu ọbara mmadụ. That agbụrụ ya, God should visit. Can I say forgive? And yes, we should forgive him. Mana onye ọbụla ogbu mma ga-ana na mma. Onye na-akwafu ọbara, the ọbara ga-visit here generations here. This we cannot live in this kind of society. Yes, I think onwe onye ọzọ.
Onwe ife na-ekwu maka taa.
About disruption. And disruption na nketa ka abịa tinye obodo na-agbagharị.
Disruption, yeah.
Ọkaka niile na-agbagharị. Mana onwe ife dị iche ị ga-eme ka akwụsịka na this extortion na-aga na-eke Ọka and environs. Because ịma na achọrọ m ikwu nke ọnịcha ahụ. Onwe nọ n'ọnịcha kpọọ m before that guy kwuzie na ọ dịkọrọ n'ihe bụ n'obi. Ọ dịcha.
Biko chelo onwe onye ọzọ na-abata. Hold your thought, okay? Yeah. Hello, biko kwuo afa anyị ebe isi akpọ ijuọ gọvanọ ajụ anyị nwerezi oge. Anyị na n'ife na-ekwu. Hello, anyị na n'ife na-ekwu. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Anyị na n'ife na-ekwu. Ebe ka isi akpọ? Okay, ngwa jụọ ajụjụ.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Governor, na ndị ọrụ ya abeziri n'Ọka quite alright. And anyị nwa ndị nọ n'Ọnịcha but not outside. We are not encounter open there. When it comes to do with the talk that always in the afternoon, in the task force are there. But on the way back at the 4 o'clock, 4:35, and just get the election, which is meant to be a with you and all that. We encounter these talks very, very well. Monitor. And at the hand, very, very well. Take notes very, very well. People don't fly over by the school. Don't fly over by the school. Also, don't fly over by Upper Park. Then also, people, everyone, everyone didn't make us because that specific place, who are able to encounter with them. Everyone also places where we can Aja, Fabia, Anambra, and the Roma. So, soon as we think about Ian and Reba, the Roma. Then, also, please, I don't make the government is taking note of this.
Yes, I am. I'm writing, actually.
Okay, then also, we are not solution team. No be worker.
Solution team, not be worker.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to tell Mr. Government again. Oh, we're bending motor at home. Now, this Catholic church is in our Odeko. Catholic Father was there, but open our church and do money. Now, because paper is very, very risky. Most of the people want that. Now, years now, I appear at back in people. So, I'm a full order. Because after Mr. Government wants to say, special thing who says you are because I don't know. Before something they never as a non-cater. The news, before local, on the go as a year ago. So when they say special thing, when you say specifically, like that one order.
Okay, because can do also, Dal.
ofu okwu ahụ kwa maka ọka niile kwa enyocha ọfụma ha kajukwala ebe niile mana ọ hit and run ka na-eme kedu ibe a ga-eme dị iche izekọtazia nka itizikwuo na nke awọdụ inyelu ndị teachers ka esi sustain ihe maka awọdụ a etu ajiche anata win ibe enye ha 1 million naira ka esi sustain with others ma ndị first class.
Hello. Okechukwu ọka ngwa biko jụọ ajụ anyị nwere oge.
Na kemgbe ebido cheta ahụ ka iwe gọọmenti na Anambra. Mana achọrọ m ịjụ ajụjụ na-atọ ọtọ.
Okay.
Ụgbọanụ na pata. Mgbe ị na-ekwu okwu ikwu na pata wa ability to pay. Ọ ka o si wee dị. Mgbe ị na-ebido ihe pata eji maka jee Enugu, jee River, jee Delta. Computer minimum ndị a na-akwụ bụ 150 then from na 200 daily. Nke ọgbata na mụ na gọvanọ na-akpa direct aka m asị ya mee ndị keke a ife a 200 plus maka na gọọmenti gara aga ụlọ gọọmenti that is the reality.
Nwayọ.
Ebe ya 150 register keke niile a never ID card. Mgbe m nweta admission, na ID card ndị music na ofu ka esi ya. Decide ya ife anụwa. Ndị keke nwere ike road 10,000, 5,000 n'ime that their ATM card, ID card. Back all every day. Back tinye na POS. Enye ma ticket for the day. Onye ebeli ejidi ya. nke ahụ ụkọ ndị taa ụdị akọkọ na ndị abịa ekwe ndị nwe nkọta nwee ndị shọpụ dị wọdị ka ọ na-emenwu enye ibe ka 50,000 ka onye na-eme ọfụma nwekwa onye akwanyere 50,000 na ịfọrọ onye na-ekwu
ọ dịkwa ka o metụrụ ya aka mgbe ọ na-ekwubu okwu.
So if I'm for ability to pay.
Yes.
Again, n'ụzọ population akago nkụ n'ọka atụmatụ ụzọ ahụ achịkọtago mkpụrụ ka mkpụ akwụkwọ eji were kọntrakt na mmadụ design ekwesịrị imechi ụfọdụ ụzọ expand at least realize ya tiere roundabout ebe ụfọdụ imechi ka average worket n'ọka kwesịrị inwe obere roundabout na Abakaliki junction ebe a ebe goodwill akwesịrị ịdụ dualine. Then lastly, ebe ọzọ chọrọ imetụ aka gọvanọ ị na-agbalịkwa na ọdụrụ izi ọrụ anụ a na-alụ ha sị m ebe ka esi enweta ihe ikwukwere ya imejizi ebe ka esi enweta ihe nwere edekọta m kọntrakt awọdụ mpe ọgụde 100 million were alụ kilomita ebe ekwukwe ya alụcha nkwụ onye esi anụmalite a na-alụ na-ekele ego mmanụ mana ebe nna ya si ike wụ enwere ike na-anya agwụla agwụla ị na-ewu ọgbọdọbeda 4,000 a na-ekwu
ikwu okwu maka keke a nwe biko ị ga-ekpokọzi ka ndị ọzọ biko ka ndị ọzọ bịa biko enwe ndị ọzọ na-abata ndị ọzọ ka ndị ọzọ nwee opportunity ịjụ biko ka ndị ọzọ
because of the people in the point. Those people that were the other former government and they fell. Former commissioner of works on here, OGC Agdan on here, and OGC Vanua on here. Everything the word incompetent.
Ungwakora zero enough.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think this issue of touting, it's something, I think I've said it repeatedly over and over. Ala nasia ntamu ge woge. If I obulugo an industry, young people put on for about 10, 15, 20 years of their lives. If I ever know. Omara ife ọzọ, former uchu to for ongo nka senka. Opụta na ilokwuru bụrụ okpokpo na nego. Ọbụla etu o si malia. Ịnọgidesi ya mba kwụsị. Ị na-asị ya bezie ka o je mụwa aka ọlụ ụfọdụ n'imefe asị ya na-ada mụ aka ekpe na nka ọnya bụ ebe nsogbu dị mana this morning o nwee nzukọ nwe on this matter about this ife Tausa and so on, but I want to also acknowledge that the feedback I also get, I will be hearing this kind of sporadic complaints. I get them because my phone were public number. So in the Anambra, I receive hundreds of thousands of messages a day. And I read many of them. When I say I'm on the street, I'm on the street everywhere. For the mefa kabana fana ba for the gapol self a peak on our colleague can make it up. I think the information I like the operating hours, no gefa giano, more some locations ebefana anoga. Opi work at this, Sebetre 3, Akukun Sube, this one, Bianoka, Aroma Junction, Ifite, and so on and so forth. We will be getting there, Amansif and so on. We will be getting there. And I'll be picking them. The meeting I went for Nototoa, I think we're going to, I don't want to begin to talk about the strategy for doing that, but we are unrelenting. Agboro has no space in Anambra under our law and order. has no place. Onye chole muifa, we now have a youth training program, youth empowerment training program, which will start off, I think that will be commencing next week or thereabout. And we're asking the youths, in wherever, bia wherever ga kozege galo, ije balo nwegulu. But instead of boroke gadalo, no ibulo bobo, ije jide madia watego. No, I na abajumba for Anambra. And I think about the roads, makata keke, and then oje check here na Enugu, check here na don't forget when afana akubu kweno, they will tell you na ifana akubu na Anambra with 250. No, if afana akubu before. No, that's what they will tell you. That's what was supposed to get to government. But in the end, people still paid over 1,000 on daily basis. 200 here, 100 here, 200 here, this and that. By the time on Abakoche in a day, they don't have the memory to come down to piece them together to realize that on average, on a daily basis, none are over 1,000 naira here in Anambra, so to speak. Now we have reduced it to barely 500-600 a day. The only difference will pay in bulk because of the cost of enforcement and so on and so forth is what we are also looking at. But your suggestion about Inyefa cards, they are being registered. Inyefa card and Keonye Pota or Tinye in a day and so on and so forth. We're looking at that, the role of technology and what technology can do. And certainly there will be improvements in terms of the technology and the way that we do the enforcement and the collection, as it were. So we've had you. Roads, I get dualized. And work at the Bakaliki and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. We'll be looking into that. Some may have to happen now, and then some may have to happen tomorrow. Because if you are dealing with a state, where there is a road crisis, there is a road crisis. I mean, I said that when I was campaigning, that Anambra has a road crisis, a road challenge, and we're going to declare a state of emergency on that. If you realize that there are tens of communities that have not seen 1 square foot of tarred road, you must recognize this. Then where communities, when I flagged off the Amansi to I mean, I was very emotional. That's about 27 kilometers, on which is going to be a game changer. Onyega from Amansi to Ebenebe. One of my staff who drove with me the day I went to flag off that road. He came back, also from Anambra Central, another local government in Anambra Central. He said that after going to that place, he was going to talk about a road that passed through his own community, but after going through that place, he could now say, please, no when the onye na-ekwu na ya nwere moto wee fụzi onye nwere okwu and so on. So there is a road crisis. We are declaring a state of emergency subject to resource constraints because we don't have a limited amount of money. I'm glad that we're actually going to raise funds, raise temporary loan over time, which we have not yet. We haven't gotten that. But we have tried to conserve whatever we have in terms of the way we have managed what we have so far. And that's what has enabled us to be paying the contractors that we have mobilized 50% upfront, to make sure that the road project is delivered and so on. But over time, we're still going to raise some funds and ratchet up these construction works in the hope that over time we will now be collecting revenue to be able to pay back. And I think it's a very simple model. is the tried and tested model that is sustainable over time. But we must give our people value. We must give our people value. Anyamalu ilo niile all at the same time. In fact, iwele ego niile budget Anambra niile bata sonso n'Awka. Iwele bata sonso n'Awka. You will not be able to deal with all the roads in Awka alone. Mana Anambra, unlike many other states with the state capital with their only city, Anambra will at least 4, 7, 8, 9. You count Awka, you have Onitsha, which is the largest city. Then you go to Nnewi, go to Ekulabia, and all of that, and many other emerging urban centers, as it were. You will load the entire budget, get to any one of these, you will not be able to fix all the roads, unfortunately. So we have a resource constraint, and we are trying to allocate them in a way that is very strategic. Phase 1 of the roads we are dealing with, but roads that are very strategic in nature. We are thinking about the roads that impact on the largest number of people and that help to also address issues such as traffic, for example. If I now look from Akpaka to Nsugbe with Sport to Housing, and there is another one we are designing off New Market Road, Savoy, then Gap through Trans-Nkisi, and so on, all designed to decongest around the area where people get stuck on traffic for about 5-6 hours on a daily basis. This is the kind of strategic moves we are doing, like this Awka North, that they haven't had a good road, a whole local government, and so on. Or getting the one that gets to Nzam in Anambra West, or to Okpoko, where you have about 1 million people trapped in the most despicable urban squalor with no facilities there. So we are intervening in places that will become game changers. So when you link Ogbaru to, I think, Ekusigo, as it were. There is one that links even the same Ekusigo, Ihembose, to Ozobolo, and so on and so forth. So, or this one that links to from Amansi to Ufuma. You know, from there, the other end of the state can now access the capital in minutes, not hours. And we're going to do a bridge in phase 2 across Obao family into Ayamelum. And when we do that, and you do the road from Umerum to Omo, then people from Ayamelum will access the Awka in minutes and no longer hours. These are the kind of strategic, I understand every village needs many roads, every village. But in the Anambra, when on the day, I nabia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Calls are Kaliona, but in the Manakai, before I get a break it, man, funerals. You just say Maka funerals, then you join Maka agriculture. According to Ibayamizuna, no infedim, because
one funerals.
Foreign Anambra Maromaka, this law to control burials ceremonies. So if you have everywhere you will 100,000, we're not sitting Madomonari, Ekbama post. Yeah, I can go so viral and what the Muma give Jilo where can they Mado.
John Key.
Yes, during the regime of Maya Para, you witnessed a boom in agriculture. By your policy of regenerative agriculture. So the other day you distributed farm seedlings and cocoa seedlings to farmers in communities. And the question now is how you are going to sustain it, and for you to throw more light on that concept
Okay, thank you very much. Two quick things. The first is on the funerals. Anambra has a funerals, burial, whatever, funeral law passed by Anambra State House of Assembly a few years ago. I think probably 3-4 years ago. The Anambra State House of Assembly mebeli iwu gbasalo etu a ga na-esi eme burial na funeral. In order to, facture ka control or the waste ndị mmadụ na-eme oge a na-eni mmadụ. And if ọbụrụ Soludo mere the iwu a 3-4 years before Soludo bịa, iwu a kwukwalụ nọ na ọ machiri ime poster, machie ime brochure, maka ndị ọ na-abụ mmadụ nwụnarị ọkpọbaghị sị dele condolence message. M dele condolence message, ị ga-eji eme gịnị? Ị ga-eji me brochure. Ọkwa ya? Tikonye na brochure. Then, which nobody is going to read anywhere. No. So, now, onye isim dele isi gari fi ji eme, tinye na brochure. Ima number na accessory to the crime. Because that law kuluna, amana emezi billboards, amana eme brochure, amana eme posters, amana eme nka even vigil where time o kwesịrị end. All manner of these ostentatious, wasteful conduct. Mmadụ oge ọ dị ndụ, igoterọla ya ọkụkọ, ọnwụọ, ịchọba ndị ga-eyi ashụ ebi, ịchọba ndị ga-eme ife. Ụfọdụ na-ejizi maka ya je na-eborọta ego, maka ọ bụrụ na o jero ma posta, o jero tinye billboard, o jero bi brochure. Inweta ebe a na-ayọ delu message I get in a brochure. Except for brochure, I've never left a funeral with a copy of any. Because I thereby finish it. Because how do you dispose of it? What do you do with it? Not always. But anyway, the point to be made, Buna, if the law of Anambra State that was made before Soludo Bieba, or they enforce 3, 4, 5 years before Soludo Bia. The only thing, if you see it now being talked about, it is only that we are saying a law is a law. Obulu, I wear government of rule of law. Obulu na the law say many fedetua. Then many until the House of Assembly change the law, it remains the law. That's the point. So Obro Soludo will introduce some poster, some brochure, some anchor, and so on. The government didn't introduce it. It is the law passed by Anambra State House of Assembly, and some years passed. That clarification is important. Second, about agriculture. Agriculture, yes, we're embarking on a silent revolution. Silent revolution of agriculture that has many dimensions. One of which, because our focus on empowerment that is sustainable. One aspect of it is empowerment that is sustainable. A poor household that gets 20 to 40 seedlings of this palm and coconut, that poor household in 4 years when they start fruiting will be out of poverty for life. That's one. Two, but that oil, this was the foundation of the Eastern Regional Government in the First Republic. That's what they used to pay to build the cities in the entire Eastern region, including the University of Nigeria and so on and so forth. It was the palm produce. But the other oil came, which is crude oil, and we left the other oil. Now that the crude oil is going out, let us maximize, first instance, the potentials in the area of palm and coconut oil thing. as it were. And this year we've distributed hundreds of thousands of seedlings to the people, and they seem to enjoy that. Next year, our target is to be able to distribute about 1 million seedlings. And we do that for over some years to come. And Anambra, the value chain that will develop from that, the ecosystem in terms of the value chain, as it were, processing industry that will be processing coconut water, coconut oil, using that to do pomades and so on. The entire value chain, or even palm itself, even for exports, for us to be able to earn industries that will emerge to create jobs and so on and so forth. So it's a new revolution. The regenerative agriculture is actually trying to emphasize agriculture the natural way, organic agriculture that actually gets on to produce, almost like I said, the natural way. All this fertilizer, they give you yield, and there's a better, what you get from those synthetic outputs and modernized and modified stuff also have their own costs. So we're going back to nature, agriculture to nature, manure, the natural organic manure to produce what we eat. Chineke kere ụwa in its natural form. Onyelo mmadụ ife ọ ga-eli in their natural form. The best form of medicine is natural food. That's the best form of medicine, natural food. And that's what we're asking our people to go back to. We're not going to go back to it overnight, but gradually, mankowa there, might provide the alternative there. And then also urban agriculture. We're also asking people to plant, even in the urban, even in a veranda bayeba, there are ways you can plant your yams there. Now you are, in bags. Yeah, in bags. There. And people are planting their yams, their dates, now along their corridor and harvesting. Mandi been a flat. Now that's open area. They plant it. So we must maximize agriculture.
Mr. Governor.
Yes.
TV, radio.
Yes, sir.
Time mana onwe ife ndị mmadụ na-ede na Facebook, okay? Ka anyị maka na ife ndị Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook.
Facebook biko. John from Okozo, also Mr. Governor, says 60% of drivers in Okozo area have enumerated and paid to government. 2 of our drivers are in hospital now because of the beatings from Okuloka and his thugs. As I write to you now, my life is being threatened. It is wrong to obey government directive. We have all these on video. Please, dear Governor Soludo, save us. Please, urgently attend to this. Okay.
Thank you very much. I think that's very good. Yes.
Chinelo Sylvia said, good day, Mr. Governor. All protocols observed. Please also look at the youth empowerment. We finished computer training at Destination Center, and we were told that we will be empowered with laptops, etc. Please help us look into it and let us know if the Soludo government is ready to empower us or they are just raising our hopes for no good reason.
Thank you.
Ejelo Akuchinonso said, good afternoon, sir. Please, sir, coerce those indigenous construction companies to be patriotic in their various projects because most of them are greedy in discharging their construction duties. Thanks. The same person, don't allow them to give your... good afternoon, Mr. Governor. Please, I want you to look into the activities of human traffickers in the state and, if possible, collaborate more with National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Anambra State Command, which was attracted by former Governor Willie Obiano, victims of human trafficking in the state do not get adequate rehabilitation because NAPTIP has no functional shelter in Anambra State, and these victims are indigenous of the state. Any more? Okay. Is it the same? Okechukwu Stephen Umerika.
To create a ministry.
dear Governor, you need to create a ministry, a department, or an agency that takes the record of all the security personnel in all the federal security parastatals and outfits, police, military, NSCDC, FRSC, and so on, so that at any point in time, you, as the governor, can have your own data of the number of federal security personnel that are currently on official arrangement in your state. Any more? Obele Chukwebuka, are there plans to enumerate all the lands and people in Anambra State? Chidima Ajemba, good afternoon, Mr. Governor. Your administration is said to be inclusive. A couple of appointments have been made since March, but no persons with disability has been appointed. What is your take on that, sir? Any more? Are you done? Okay, Mr. Governor, you may wish to attempt some of these.
Maybe the last one is the last one is quite maybe I start from the last one. You know, the things just flip through quickly. Some of them are information or suggestions and so on, and so we don't need to respond. Let me respond to the last one that said is inclusive, no person with disability. I don't know if maybe the person who asked the question goes about, he has his own sense of person with disability. I don't know if he has conducted tests on all the appointees to know that there is nobody with disability in government. I don't know what the person is talking about. Second is that the principal consideration in our appointment is what value you are bringing to the table. That is it. And irrespective of where you come from, what ability or disability you have, that's not a hindrance. We're very, very much, we have the Disabilities Commission, and I understand the current chairman now is a person with disability, as it were. The key for us is Kedefe Galon de Anambra. We're not going to give appointment as, person with disability appointment for symbolic reason. No, that's not the way it happens. We should create opportunities for everybody, whether he has disability or ability, in a one person or two person appointment. How does that solve the problem of thousands of people with disability? I thought that this person should be talking about how do we provide a level playing field and make sure wherever and whenever a person with a disability shows up and has the competence and capacity to offer something, that we also offer them that. We are building codes now, trying to incorporate standards that will now incorporate sensitivity to persons with disability in the building codes. For example, training, special training centers for people with maybe hearing issues. We had October 1 March Past the other day, and we had one school, persons with disability, that had their March Past. We're putting in resources where they matter. Somebody is looking for, if somebody is looking for appointment, then show up and tell us what value you bring to the table. But we cannot measure inclusiveness by just a gesture of our inclusiveness is in the quality, the depth and breadth of the policies that we make, and aspiring to provide the greatest good for the greatest number. And so for persons with disability, we stand for you, we stand with you. I mean, they're all around me, even in my own larger extended family. I know them, I see them, and we take care of them, and trying to empower them to become more useful citizens of the state. So, if you know any such, and I'd like us to develop the policies and programs that benefit the persons with disability, rather than counting who is there, or trying to subject every political appointee to know whether they are persons with disability or not. Anyway, on the other things, I'm thinking about the coercing indigenous construction companies. Some of them are greedy. Maybe I will have to tell them not to be greedy when you say coercing. I think we're trying to get companies and so on to be socially responsible. And when you talk in terms of the grid, we're also even considering the possibility of getting those who function here to be sensitive to the local environment. There are some kinds of jobs that they might need locals to perform, that they need to employ them, because we want them to create jobs, as it were. The job content, for example, of every contract or whatever that we give is very important to us, because we need to provide jobs to our youths, as it were. But these things are what we are structuring and getting them to be socially responsible, as it were, and responsive to the environment in which they operate. We have to build an inclusive society, and to build that inclusive society requires everybody to play their own part. And let me also say something when you talk about their greed. This government is squeezing to the bare bones in terms of, because we haven't got money. And value for money is our mantra. We're trying to do more with less. Doing more with less is our mantra. And therefore, the contractors, if you see them, some of them have even mentioned, who are also doing projects in other parts of the country, making the point that given the kind of standards that we want, even some of the roads we are demanding, and the contractors signed to 20-year guarantees of these roads, given the quality of what we've designed. And the price at which they do them, they're actually operating to bare bones. And this is all part of the new environment in which we have to operate. So, yeah, we'll try what we can, but coercion may not be the word. NAPTIP, that's the national agency. Let me also say to whoever wrote this, NAPTIP, that's a federal agency, and we want to make this point. If you're a federal agency, you are here, you got to provide, you have your federal funding. You don't come to the state and begin to ask the state to provide you with what you should be providing here. That's what you should be providing. And this kind of mindset, we can't have this in a federation. I have my own allocation as a federal agency. If you come here, you pay your bills. You should go and rent accommodation. That's your responsibility. You're a national agency with your own budget. You don't come here and then ask the state to pay. We've got to go and provide you with accommodation. We are the one to go and provide you with this, and so on and so forth. I'm afraid that will not wash with me coming from that point of view. If it is a project also that we agree to and we collaborate with, we agree and design that. But as a federal agency, you have your own budget, and you come and operate in Anambra, and you're not doing us a favor. It is your duty to do that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Governor.
Yes.
We have done 2 hours, 20 minutes, additional 20 minutes. And the phones are...
And onye nke ọkụzụ ka m gwa gị na afụrụ m sendela anyị nọmba onye abụ Ọkwụlọka and his talks. Send us his contacts. Ọ bụ na ị nwere contacts ya from Ọkụzụ. Send it to us. Okay? Send it to us and we come after him. Because, and I want to say this finally about these talks. Anyone that you know, send us. We had some numbers. We asked people if you see things, and I think you should be advertising these numbers repeatedly so that everybody gets to get these numbers. Send us the contacts or anybody that you know. If you have the photo of the person, you have the person's phone number or whatever, send it to us. We'll go and pick the person out. We are very serious about these touts and thugs that are marauding the streets. We've told them, if you can't come and learn something to do, go to another state. If you cannot come, if you come, we'll give you the skills, we'll give you the enablement. We are prepared to work with you, retrain you, and put you to become useful member of the society. But where you insist that the only way you will make a living is to go to forcefully take it from people, every tout, every Agboro trying to extort money from people is a thief. Onyori. And Nigeria, I may if I Mendori. We treat you as a thief, as a criminal on the road. That's what you are. So, we're not, and because today, the 0.01% of the people cannot define who we are. Ndị Anambra bụ hard-working people. And India, I'm not sure India bụ ndị Anambra. Because ndị Anambra draw lazy. Ndị Anambra na-eje na mmadụ ife ya n'ike. Onye bụ ezigbo onye Anambra ṅụrụ ala mmiri, ṅụrụ ala nne na Anambra. Ama eji na mmadụ ife ya n'ike. Ife eji mara anyị bụ mbọ, anyị na-agba mbọ. We're enterprising, we're hard-working people. Honest, with integrity. But if you can't operate under those rules, then you don't belong. Anambra is a place for people with honor. So, ife ga-alụ ibe anyị nyere gị aka. Ọ bụkwa nna ya ọma aba anyị na gị, jee chọọ ebe ọzọ. Nigeria enwe the other 35 states plus FCT. Onwe ebe ị ga-elive etu anyị gawa ebe a, but not in Anambra. Because ọma aba anyị na gị ebe a.
Well said, Mr. Governor. Mr. Chalo. You want to make an information? We really don't have time. We really don't have time. Probably when we step out, you can do that, okay? Because we have gone beyond the time provided for the program. And Keneka Ige Anambra, Dalun Rine, phone number you can send your messages. You have our email addresses, platforms to reach us, so that 2.5 hours are drawn enough. When who is the governor? In fact, if a man send them about governor is that you're leading by example. If is that you are keeping to your word and you are keeping to your promise. Always no name lotal for Gufagum no yankusifa no netitim bofano kingdom kingabati men in female. And I forgot I need me melota. Men so if that number even I want that number men in female. Another I need me melota. Men in female. Men in female. On that note in that number, Dalun. Omete kwa ka onwe to aga onwe no governor chiatakwa I know na ba to Dalun.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Unparalleled transparency. Incomparable transparency. Very familiar faces. Western region, no. I've met that party there. Party came below. I'm not about that. No one. Monday, I'm not about. Nde, Omodole, Wadato, Etu, Sierra, Bon. Then we Sierra, I guess for me there, before. A poor government who's in yes, that's not bad. As more, that being called. Are you getting me? So I am going to with yellow. Oboni yellow, Oni Njenje, Iwi there, Oboni Njenje, Mami Njenje, we want to have a system in Anambra where you don't need to know anybody. You don't need to know anybody. You don't need to know government. You don't need to know any commissioner. You don't need to know any officer. If they all all that we are interested in for the maximum revenue for the people, because we have to work for the people. The ordinary people there, we're going to soon recruit about 5,000 teachers to teach our children or grandchildren. We have to pay them. And moving around yesterday, we drove about 30 kilometers not ever. All the worst roads they don't have all women here. From Music Junction through where they do and so on and so forth. I woman million wrong road. Everywhere all the bad roads they don't have. I got yesterday. My grandmother, I will free everybody.